Hello, I'm Mitzi Paul. I've created this video to help you gain a better understanding of the dangers and results of drinking and driving. On January 19, 1993, myself and two passengers were struck head-on by a drunk driver. The drunk driver and his passengers were not seriously injured. We were all wearing our seatbelts. At the time of the crash, I was 24 years old, living in my own apartment. College was behind me, and I was managing the offices of two computer companies. That life is gone now. Let's go back a few years and look at the Mitzi Paul whose hopes and dreams were taken away by a drunk driver.
Hi, my name is Mitzi Paul, and I'd like to welcome everybody to our 1987 senior presentation. The song you are hearing in the background is one I've chosen as my favorite. It's called The Rose. This song is about love and trying without fear of failure, for even when life may seem dark like winter, spring will come and bring the bud of a rose to bloom. We, the senior TikTokers, tonight will show all of you how we are blooming like the rose. I was born in Upland 18 years ago and will be moving to Laguna Niguel in June. During my spare time, I enjoy going out with my friends to either the beach, shopping, or anywhere else we can meet new people. I have attended Upland High School for the past 4 years. I have enjoyed being involved in my school. My 9th grade year, I was freshman class treasurer. My sophomore year, I was a JV cheerleader. My junior year, I was a varsity yell leader. And this year, I am part of the Executive Council on ASB as PEP Commissioner. Next year, I'll be attending Cal State University Fullerton. My goals are to be either an elementary school teacher or going into telecommunications and becoming the next Oprah Winfrey. I'll take this opportunity.
My dreams of someday becoming a teacher are now gone. You may think that my life has turned into a tragedy. I did lose the Mitzi that I knew in that crash, but perhaps I found the Mitzi that was truly meant to be. Life is not always fair. That's what makes it interesting. Hopefully I can teach you something from my experience. The drunk driver that made a choice to drink and drive took away many of my life choices that most people take for granted. Alcohol is not our friend. Drinking and driving is not okay. I spent 6 weeks in a coma. Both my legs were crushed. My left arm was broken in so many places. I am unable to use it at all. My right hip was broken, and I had a serious head injury. In other words, brain damage. The doctors fixed both my legs with steel rods, pins, and screws. However, little could be done for my head injury. I looked into it. There is no Wizard of Oz. I can't get a new brain. Drunk driving is not an accident. Someone that is drunk does not accidentally get behind the wheel of a car and drive. The drunk driver that hit me knew he had been drinking. He admitted to drinking 8 to 9 beers, but claimed that he was not drunk. His blood alcohol content was 0.18 when he caused this horrible crash. Sometimes we hear a person that has been drinking say, "I'm just driving down the street." Well, if it's just down the street, then walk. I wonder if the drunk driver that hit me ever thinks of me when he gets out of bed in the morning. For a long time, he was the first thing that I thought of when I could not get out of bed for myself. I still need help getting out of bed, but I don't think of him that much anymore. I have taken my life back, and he no longer has power over me. He was sentenced to 18 months in jail. My life won't ever be the same. I wish after 18 months, my injuries would have just gone away. This crash was caused by someone drinking just a few. Look at what just a few can do. The next time you or the driver of your car says that they've had just a few, remember my story. This could be you, or worse. Remember, drunk drivers kill. The man that hit me only served 13 months of his 18-month sentence. He was released early for good time, work time. I am spending my life in a prison, my own body that I can't control. I'm often asked if I ever get depressed. Sure I do, don't you? Is your life perfect? Well, neither is mine. We all have problems. We can learn how to overcome the bad times and concentrate on the good ones. My challenges are more difficult, but my life is filled with caring people, the will to survive, and blessings that I would not have seen before this happened to me. We all have strength to be a survivor when it would be easier to be a victim. I was a victim at the time the car struck us, but living through that made me a survivor. Be grateful for each day and remember, blessings come to us all of the time. We just need to open our minds to see them.
It's one of the world's most mysterious and misunderstood ailments, the sleep-like state we call coma. It can last for hours, it can last for years, but only in Hollywood do patients suddenly wake up and resume their old lives in full health. The fact is, when a coma ends, the hard work toward recovery begins. John Larson looks at one celebrated case in California where a young woman's awakening is just half the battle.
In fact, a close look at coma victims reveals that the myth and reality about comas have become confused. For one thing, a majority of coma patients eventually come out of their comas. And for another, that awakening, what appears to be a miracle, most of the time is really just the first step in a long, painful, and often incomplete road to recovery.
And I have brain damage, so I'm not the same person. I can't move my legs, my left arm, and my memory is not like it used to be. And I checked into it. There is no Wizard of Oz. I can't get a new brain.
Despite all that, now, after 4 years of therapy, Mitzi is considered a success story. She still has a wonderful sense of humor. She loves country music and singer Garth Brooks. She's even begun to volunteer for a head injury hotline. And yet, there is still so much we don't know. Who will and will not wake up from a coma, nor what will help them do so. Many rehabilitation professionals are convinced it's important to stimulate, even attempt to communicate with those still asleep. Mitzi agrees. Like many patients, she says she remembers much of what went on around her. The movie Fantasy minimizes what coma victims really face. What's the harm in thinking it's a miracle and oversimplifying it?
It's not reality. I mean, this is real life. It's not a soap opera or a movie where you can write the script. And I wish I could write the script where I walked out of the hospital.
And you'd skip away.
When I was in rehab, I kept thinking, if I could just go home, everything would be perfect, just like Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz. There is no place like home. Dorothy traveled through a tornado. I, on the other hand, hit the equivalent of a brick wall, going 110 miles per hour. I can't click my heels together yet, but I am continuing to travel down the yellow brick road to recovery.